Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. Our theme for this week is focused enthusiasm, which is to a certain degree a double-edged sword. There is a juice with enthusiasm that gives us the impetus to take right action. And certainly this week, with this energy playing with the sun and with our earth being in focus, it's a really good time for you to explore where perhaps you've been lacking in enthusiasm around the things you need to do to set your foundation in place and to be strong in what you grow. In other words, it's a great week for you to ask yourself, are there things in your life maybe you've put off that you need to bring a renewed enthusiasm and focus to? Maybe you've got accounting that you need to do, or maybe you've got some project that you really don't want to do, but you put it on the back burner. This is the week to pull it out and get it done. When we forget to bring our zest to the table, our enthusiasm to the table, when we are fighting our own inner impetus, there's a couple of reasons why we fight it. Sometimes we fight it because that thing we think we should be doing isn't really what we want to be doing. Sometimes we resist it because the timing's not right. Sometimes we resist it because it's not in alignment with who we are and what we really intend. And sometimes when we resist it, it's because we don't have the energy to bring to it. Energy is a tricky thing, particularly when we look at it in the context of human design. Some of us, by nature, have more than others. But our energy, no matter what our type, is cultivated most significantly by our belief systems, by the way in which we interact with each other, by our own alignment with our own truth. The truth is, usually when we're procrastinating on something, it's because we're out of alignment with something in our life in some way, shape, or form. And we're afraid to take that right action because we're concerned that it'll set off another domino effect of some kind that will cause a cascade of events that might ultimately either push you even further out of alignment, further into a place of obligation that you don't really want to fulfill, or it'll cause us vital energy that maybe we don't have. So when we explore the theme of enthusiasm and where we may or may not be bringing enthusiasm to the table, it's a really good invitation to look at where or what is keeping you gummed up from experiencing the full zest of your participation in the things you need to do in your life. It's interesting to also note that sometimes our lack of enthusiasm comes because we have to do something we really don't want to do and we put it off. And the truth is, when you put it off, it's like a monster that gets growing bigger and bigger and bigger in the closet, taking up more and more of our energy, causing us to be even more resistant to getting it done in the first place. So sometimes there is that place, especially when enthusiasm is playing out in the solar energy for the week, where you got to suck it up, buttercup, and just get it done. The truth is, you'll feel a lot better once it's off your plate. And the procrastination itself is eating up a big chunk of your energy. There's another theme to this particular energy. Enthusiasm can be a great energy, an inspiring energy, an energy that oftentimes shakes us out of our analysis paralysis and causes us to finally go do that thing or get started doing that thing we were dreaming about. But it can also be the Fool card in the tarot deck, right? That place where you leap into action without doing your homework. So this energy this week also begs of us to explore, are we prepared for what we're really wanting to do? Are we stuck in being over-prepared, or do we need more preparation so that that leap that we take into that next step, whatever it is a conscious leap, a prepared leap, an aligned leap? Focus also brings us a challenge in human design. When we look at the energy of focus, it's married to, in the chart, the gate 52, which is the energy of the big picture. Focus and concentration, the 9 and the 52, play together in a very interesting way and give us challenges with either gate in knowing where to focus our energy. The 52 energy tends to give us the perspective of the big eye view, right? It's the bird's eye perspective where you can see everything. The 9, which is the energy we carry with the earth energy this week, gives us the ability to know from that big eye view, from that bird's eye perspective, where do we need to put our attention. But if we don't have perspective, there is a possibility with this 9 energy to go deep down a rabbit hole with great enthusiasm. So it's also a really important time for you to take a step back and make sure you have the big perspective on where you're putting your focus, what you need to focus on, where you need to push with enthusiasm to break out of limitations and move into this next cycle of zestful creativity that we are embarking on. One last piece. Divine timing, one of my favorite topics. When we look at burnout, which, by the way, the World Health Organization has now classified burnout as an actual diagnosis, thank goodness, because it's about time. When we look at burnout, sometimes we burn out and we fail to bring our energy to the table because we've pushed against right timing. In fact, when I look at the human design chart and we look at where right timing regulates everything in the chart, it's in the root center, the adrenaline center. The adrenaline center gives us a pulse to take action. And it's going to either give us the pulse to take action that's based in fear, that's a survival-based response. It's going to give us the pulse to action to then set in motion the right energy for the right work or the right nurturing through the sacral. Or it waits until our emotional alignment is in sync. And when our emotional alignment is in sync, in other words, when our faith is fully activated and we are trusting and knowing that the universe is bringing to us everything we need to fulfill our purpose and who we are in the world, when we're totally aligned with our faith, then the root gives us that pulse of here's the next right step and here's the energy to sustain your faith no matter what. If we push against right timing, if we push against our faith, if we're taking action and we don't have faith, if we push against the right timing of the root pulse to the sacral and we're trying to do work that's not the right work, or trying to take nurturing action that's not the right nurturing action, that we're not responding with, but we are dictating to the universe, this is how it's going to be. If we are stuck in the fear of the spleen and we are letting that fear pulse from the root get really mixed up with our human story, and we're starting to let the fear of trying something new, for example, keep us stuck and trapped in fear. Or if we're listening to the fear and we're not paying attention to our own gut and we're overriding it with our logic or our minds, then we again burn ourselves out. Right timing dictates everything. This 16 energy, because it has enthusiasm and it can sometimes have a tendency to forget to do your homework. It can make you leap without thinking. It can make you jump without paying attention to where are you going to land. None of those things are bad in and of themselves, but if you don't have the faith, if it isn't something you're responding to, if the timing isn't right, then you really are living out the story of the Fool card, where you are the fool taking the first step on their journey off the cliff, right? You don't want to go off the cliff. So it's important for you to pay attention to bringing that zest to the table, bringing that enthusiasm into the world, but doing it in sync with right timing. Don't override the right timing and cause yourself to have a disaster. Pay attention. Get the big eye view, the bird's eye view. Look at where you need to focus your energy. Make sure your faith is in place. Make sure you're in alignment with who you are. Make sure your energy is good and high. Make sure the timing is right. And then, with great focused enthusiasm, take the right action. That's it for this week. It's a fun week. Take good care of yourselves and have a wonderful week. I will talk to you again next week. Bye.